The sky over Earth darkened in a way that no storm or eclipse could explain. Across every major city, people stopped mid-step, craning their necks to witness the impossible. Alien warships, enormous and impossibly sleek, hovered in orbit, blotting out the sun. Their hulls shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting Earth's blue oceans and green continents in distorted, jagged patterns. A low hum rolled across the planet, felt in the chest as much as heard. A mechanical heartbeat of incomprehensible scale. From each vessel, massive screens flickered to life. On them, the galaxy's most feared warriors appeared. Tall, muscular, armored beings whose very posture exuded dominance. Their eyes glowed beneath their helmets, scanning the planet with cold curiosity. Humans of Earth. A deep, resonant voice boomed, amplified by technology that made every word vibrate through the bones of anyone listening. Surrender your planet. Resist and all life here will end. Panic rippled like wildfire. Cars skidded across highways, people abandoned buildings, and fighter jets scrambled into the smoky sky. Governments went into lockdown. In the chaos, a father clutched his daughter, whispering promises he wasn't sure he could keep. Soldiers gripped their rifles, their knuckles white, staring at the alien champions they had only heard of in fearful legends. Yet even as fear spread, a subtle hum of defiance sparked among humanity. From underground bunkers to high-tech command centers, humans began moving with quiet precision. Scientists flicked switches on devices that had been dormant for decades. Engineers readied weapons no one outside select circles had seen before, and small militias took positions on city rooftops. Every action was a defiance, a refusal to be simply swept aside by invaders who assumed superiority. In New York, Lieutenant Mara Ellison watched the alien behemoths reflect off the shattered glass of Times Square. Her squad huddled around a console, displaying live feeds of alien activity. "They think they know us," she muttered, voice tight with anger. "They have no idea." And maybe they didn't. Beneath the warships, drones began descending, sleek and black, scanning, mapping, testing defenses. Streets turned to chaos as first responders tried to evacuate civilians, while police and military forces blocked roads. A child clutching a small stuffed animal ran across rubble-strewn streets only to be scooped up by a soldier who whispered, "Stay with me. We fight together." Above, alien champions moved with terrifying grace, leaping from ship to ship, scanning, testing. They expected humans to crumble, primitive, weak, fragile, but each encounter they faced hinted at something unexpected. Doors slammed against, armored soldiers, clever barricades redirected drone attacks, humans darted through alleyways with uncanny speed and precision. Every small success lit fires of hope, flickers of defiance that even the aliens couldn't ignore. Back in command centers, global leaders argued over whether to surrender or fight. But in quiet pockets, in underground bunkers and rooftops across the world, another choice was being made: to resist, to show that humanity, even cornered and outgunned, was not a species that surrendered. As night fell, the alien ships remained suspended, silent yet threatening, casting long, jagged shadows over the cities below. Fires burned, sirens wailed, and the world braced for the storm yet to come. And in that darkness, a single truth became clear. This invasion had underestimated its target. Humanity was far from helpless. The first shot would come soon, not from alien guns, but from the spirit of a species pushed to the edge. And when it did, the galaxy would learn that what humans lacked in sheer firepower, they made up for in cunning, resolve, and wrath that had been quietly building for centuries. The sky trembled, the wind carried whispers of fear, and somewhere, across continents, humans gritted their teeth and prepared. They had no illusions. They were outmatched. But they had something more terrifying than technology, more formidable than armor, and more unpredictable than strategy. They had heart. And heart, as the galaxy would soon discover, could be deadly. The first strike came just after midnight. Alien champions had landed in downtown Tokyo, moving with terrifying precision. Their boots barely made a sound on the shattered streets, yet every motion radiated lethal intent. Skyscrapers shook from distant blasts as drones scoured the city for life, and holographic projections of alien leaders flickered across towering screens, demanding obedience. Citizens fled in every direction, a chaotic river of fear, while emergency sirens cut through the night like warning bells of an apocalypse. Among the chaos, humans were already striking back. In the heart of Shinjuku, a squad of soldiers had taken cover behind a crumbling wall. Lieutenant Hiro Tanaka scanned the street with a laser sight, fingers tight on his rifle. A champion, tall, armored, with a helmet glowing faintly red, strode forward, scanning, confident in its superiority. "They think this is a game," Hiro muttered, his voice barely audible over distant explosions. "Let's show them it's war." With synchronized precision, the humans moved. A smoke grenade erupted in the street, blinding sensors. Traps hidden in debris triggered, sending shrapnel spinning toward the alien warrior. It reacted, too slow. Sparks flew as the first human trap landed a direct hit, ricocheting off its armor. The alien staggered, an unfamiliar sound of pain escaping its comlink. Across the city, similar battles erupted. Human ingenuity turned the streets into a minefield of hazards. Electrical wires, shattered glass, overturned vehicles, all became weapons. A mother and her teenage son triggered a small EMP device from a rooftop, sending a nearby drone crashing into a burning building. Sparks rained down as fire reflected in their determined eyes. The alien invaders, who had assumed humanity, would cower, began to realize their mistake. Every step forward was met with a new challenge. Humans exploiting terrain, improvising weapons, and moving with reckless ingenuity. In the sky above, fighter jets weaved through flares and laser fire. Pilots coordinated with ground teams using encrypted signals, creating chaos in the alien ranks. One pilot, Lieutenant Sofia Alvarez, looped her jet under a descending alien drop pod and launched precision missiles. The pod exploded mid-air, scattering fragments across the city like fireworks. But these were no celebrations. Each explosion marked humanity's first real triumph. Meanwhile, back in the ruins of a government building, engineers triggered a railgun for the first time. The long barrel hummed, a low, ominous tone that vibrated through the ground. When it fired, the projectile struck an alien champion squarely, knocking it back and tearing a section of its armor. Gasps echoed through the control room. The impossible was happening. Humans were not just defending, they were winning skirmishes. But victory came at a cost. Fires raged through the streets, rubble crushed vehicles and civilians alike, and the alien counterattacks were deadly precise. Lieutenant Hiro's squad took heavy fire, and he barely had time to drag a wounded comrade into cover. Still, in the midst of blood and smoke, a strange exhilaration coursed through the humans. Every strike, every small victory proved that they could fight, that they could survive. In the alien command ship orbiting above, the first whispers of doubt began. "They are unpredictable," one commander said, eyes narrowing at the live feeds. "They are adapting faster than anticipated. Their resistance, it is unprecedented." Down on Earth, humanity pressed the advantage. Makeshift barricades funneled alien warriors into traps. Squads moved with uncanny coordination, and civilians joined in any way they could, throwing Molotovs, luring drones into power lines, even using construction cranes as improvised battering devices. Every act, no matter how small, became a blow against the invaders' confidence. As dawn broke, the cityscape was transformed into a battlefield painted with fire and smoke, shattered glass, and the debris of chaos. Humans, battered and exhausted, stood among the ruins, staring at the retreating shadows of alien champions regrouping for the next assault. Lieutenant Hiro looked around at the survivors, a grim smile crossing his face. "We just drew first, blood," he said quietly. "And tomorrow, we fight harder." Above them, the alien warships hovered, their massive hulls reflecting the burning city below. For the first time, doubt had entered their calculations. Humanity, a species they had considered primitive and fragile, had shown cunning, courage, and the spark of something far deadlier than brute force: willpower and wrath that could not be measured in numbers alone. The first blood had been drawn, and the galaxy would never forget it. The night was quieter than it should have been. Across the scarred cities of Earth, fire still burned, but a strange, almost electric tension pulsed in the air. The aliens had retreated, not defeated, but calculating, regrouping, wary. For the first time since their arrival, they hesitated. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a hidden facility known to only a handful of the world's leaders, humanity's most dangerous secret came to life. Generations of research, reverse-engineered, alien tech and experimental weapons, once considered too dangerous to deploy, were being activated. Rows of sleek armored exosuits glinted under harsh white lights, railguns hummed in preparation, and drones far faster than any alien counterpart hovered silently in anticipation. Colonel Marcus Vale, commander of the underground strike force, stood before the control console. His face was weathered, eyes sharp, mind racing. "This is it," he muttered. "They came expecting us to break. They'll learn what happens when humans stop running." Outside the facility, tremors ran through the Earth. Above ground, humans who had survived the first wave were regrouping. Civilians armed with improvised weapons had joined military units. Streets had become fortresses of determination, walls of debris and fire forming choke points. Every alley was a trap, every rooftop a sniper's nest. Humanity had become the predator in a city the aliens assumed would be prey. High above, alien scouts hovered, scanning. Their HUDs picked up signs of organized resistance. "Unusual activity detected," one champion reported. "They are preparing something," but the aliens did not yet understand. At a hidden launch bay beneath the facility, experimental fighters roared to life, their engines bright blue streaks of energy. Pilots took their seats, hearts pounding with anticipation and fear. This was more than technology, it was a statement. Humanity would not merely resist, humanity would strike. Above the Pacific Ocean, alien warships began to descend. Their intent was clear: crush the human stronghold before it could become a threat. But they had miscalculated the scale of preparation. Mines, hidden torpedoes, and electromagnetic nets detonated in succession, ripping through the first wave of drones. The water erupted like molten glass under the sudden assault, alien warriors screaming orders that were lost in static. In the skies over Europe, another battle unfolded. Human fighter squadrons, once considered obsolete, now armed with rail-mounted plasma cannons, streaked through the air with incredible speed. Alien champions, confident in their aerial superiority, found themselves dodging attacks they could not predict. One pilot, Sofia Alvarez, executed a daring maneuver, firing a precision missile that cut through an alien ship's hull. The explosion lit the clouds with an eerie green fire. Meanwhile, on the streets, Lieutenant Hiro Tanaka led a strike team toward a downed alien transport. They moved like shadows, slipping between rubble and fire, laying charges along the craft. When it detonated, it ripped a massive crater into the asphalt, scattering alien drones like leaves in a storm. Hiro looked at his team. Blood and sweat streaked across their faces. This is only the beginning," he said. In orbit, alien commanders observed the chaos below. Reports flooded in of unexpected resistance, devastating counterattacks, and human coordination that rivaled anything in their databases. Doubt hardened into fear. For the first time, the invaders considered retreat, not entirely, but enough to make them cautious. Back in the hidden facility, Colonel Vale watched the feeds of global resistance. Every city told the same story. Humans were no longer just defending, they were taking control. He turned to his officers, voice resolute. "Today, the galaxy will learn that humanity is not prey. Today, we remind them why no one dares underestimate us." The sun rose, casting blood-orange light over the burning cities. Alien warships hovered like predators, and below, humanity's wrath surged like a tidal wave. Streets littered with debris and fire became the proving grounds of a species that refused to bow. Every human strike, Every tactical maneuver, every improvised weapon sent a clear message. Earth was no longer a passive victim. The invaders had expected fear and submission. They had found neither. And somewhere, high above, a voice crackled through alien comm links, tense and unmistakable. They are not like the others. They fight with fury, adaptation, coordination. We underestimated them. That single acknowledgement, trembling with a rare hint of dread, was the first real victory for humanity. Not in numbers, not in destruction, but in proving that Earth had a force the galaxy could not ignore. Humans who would fight to the last, armed not just with weapons, but with unbreakable spirit. By midday, the world had become a fractured battlefield. Cities were scarred, oceans churned with explosions, and the skies above burned with streaks of fire and plasma. Alien champions moved cautiously now, their usual arrogance tempered by the unknown force of human strategy. Lieutenant Hiro Tanaka crouched atop a shattered skyscraper, surveying Tokyo through a thermal scope. Alien reinforcements had arrived, massive and intimidating, their exosuits bristling with weaponry designed to crush everything in sight. But the humans had learned from the first night, predictability was a weakness. Team Alpha split into 3 squads, Hiro instructed, voice low but firm. We hit them from multiple angles. Keep moving, keep adapting. Don't let them pin us down. Below, a squad of civilians armed with scavenged rifles, Molotovs, and homemade EMPs prepared to support the strike. Fear lingered in their eyes, but determination burned brighter. They were no longer mere survivors. They were warriors. The first explosion came from the river where engineers had rigged a series of hydroelectric turbines to detonate. Water surged like a liquid wall, sweeping alien drones off their feet. Sparks flew, metal screamed, and the first wave of champions staggered under the assault. The humans, hidden in the shadows, moved in synchrony, striking with precision and unpredictability. In the air, Lieutenant Sofia Alvarez executed a daring aerial loop, diving through a barrage of alien plasma fire. Her fighter's hull shuddered under near misses, but she pressed forward, releasing a payload of guided missiles into a hovering alien ship. The explosion lit the sky like a second sun, reflecting off shattered skyscraper glass below. Meanwhile, deep in the underground facility, Colonel Marcus Vale coordinated global counterattacks. Holographic maps of major cities flickered with real-time strikes. Railgun batteries fired in succession, obliterating alien landing zones before reinforcements could deploy. Stealth drones carried out surgical strikes, removing alien champions, one by one. Humanity had become a single coordinated organism, a predator striking with lethal intelligence. Yet the aliens adapted as well. Champion commanders called for the deployment of heavier exosuits, faster drones, and energy shields capable of deflecting most projectile attacks. The streets became a deadly chessboard, with humans and aliens calculating, reacting, and improvising. Each step carried the weight of life or death. Hiro's team moved through the wreckage, placing charges on an alien command transport. A single misstep could trigger an ambush or alert a nearby warship. Sweat dripped down his forehead, his heart pounding in rhythm with the distant explosions. As the last charge was set, an alien champion appeared, a towering figure, armor glowing with an eerie light. Hiro froze for a split second, then signaled his team. Every trap they had laid, every distraction, every clever maneuver culminated in this moment. The explosion rocked the street. Flames and debris erupted in all directions. The alien champion roared, staggered, and then fell, its energy shields flickering and dying. Civilians cheered from hidden vantage points. Soldiers high-fived, eyes wild with adrenaline. But there was no time to celebrate. From the sky, alien reinforcements descended like a black tide. Ships blocked out the sun, shadows stretching across the devastated city. Their war cry reverberated through the ruins, a warning that humanity's wrath was far from over. Colonel Vale, watching from his command center, clenched his fists. "They're learning," he muttered. "Good. Let them underestimate us again. Humanity doesn't just fight. We endure, we adapt, and we strike back harder. In the midst of chaos, the true scope of human ingenuity became clear. Makeshift barricades turned streets into killing fields. Civilians wielded technology and traps in ways the aliens never predicted, and soldiers coordinated with unmatched discipline. Every victory, no matter how small, became a lesson in fear and respect. As dusk fell, the battlefield was a mosaic of fire, smoke, and shattered metal. Alien champions retreated to regroup. Humans, though battered and bloodied, stood tall amidst the ruins. Hero looked over the city, chest heaving. "They thought they could intimidate us," he whispered. "They thought Earth would break. But we are just getting started." Above, the alien commanders observed the aftermath, their confidence waning. For the first time, doubt had rooted itself in their ranks. They had faced fierce species before, but none like humanity. Unpredictable, adaptive, relentless. And humanity, scarred but unbroken, prepared for the next wave. One thing was certain: the galaxy would remember this day, not as the day aliens conquered Earth, but as the day they learned that humans were the wrath of a species that refused to surrender. The dawn brought no peace. Smoke still twisted into the sky over ruined cities, and the oceans churned with the remnants of battle. Humanity had survived the first waves, but survival was no longer enough. Now, it was time to strike back. Coronel. Marcus Vale stood on the observation deck of the underground facility. Below him, engineers and soldiers coordinated a massive counteroffensive. Humanity had learned the patterns of the alien invaders, studied their strengths and weaknesses, and was ready to exploit them. "Our targets are clear," Vale said, voice resolute. "They think Earth is a battlefield they control. They're wrong. Every city, every street, every structure can be a weapon, and we will show them that every inch of our planet bites back." Across the globe, human strike teams prepared for deployment. Some moved through abandoned subway tunnels, setting traps and laying charges. Others piloted advanced fighter craft loaded with experimental weaponry. The world had become a hive of strategy. Every human a node in a network of resistance and attack. Above the Atlantic, a fleet of alien warships descended, confident in their superior firepower. They were about to meet the unexpected. Human orbital, artillery hidden in geostationary positions opened fire. Beams of searing energy struck with surgical precision, puncturing alien hulls. Explosions sent massive shockwaves through the surrounding water, flipping smaller drones like paper boats. On the ground, Lieutenant Hiro Tanaka and his squad infiltrated a supply convoy of alien exosuits. Every step was tense. One wrong move could alert the entire fleet. Hiro signaled silently, and his team moved as shadows, disabling shields, planting EMPs, and dragging captured tech into hiding. The first confrontation erupted with shocking intensity. Alien champions expecting an easy sweep encountered humans who knew their every move. Streets became labyrinths of ambushes. Railguns tore through armor plating, improvised explosives toppled heavy mechs, and civilians armed with scavenged tech became lethal snipers from hidden rooftops. Meanwhile, Sofia Alvarez led a squadron through a canyon littered with alien wreckage. She navigated her fighter with uncanny precision, weaving between debris and enemy fire. With a flick of her wrist, she released a swarm of miniature drones that homed in on alien engines, igniting them in bursts of brilliant green flame. Ships plummeted into the canyon, leaving trails of smoke and sparks. Yet the aliens were cunning. Champion commanders adapted rapidly, coordinating attacks that forced humans to constantly rethink strategies. Every success came with risk, every victory a gamble. Tension coiled through every human heart. Adrenaline sharpened senses to a razor's edge. In Europe, a hidden railgun installation fired on an alien supply ship hovering above the city. The beam struck its engine core, and the vessel crashed into the Seine, sending a tidal wave through the streets. Soldiers scrambled to rescue civilians while simultaneously preparing for the inevitable retaliation. Back at the command center, Colonel Vale monitored global operations. A map flickered with strikes, explosions, and human advances. Their Learning, he muttered. They're finally understanding that Earth is not theirs to take. He tapped the console. Prepare the next wave. Trap them where they think we're weakest. We will turn their arrogance against them. The counterstrike reached its climax in the ruined deserts of North Africa, where an alien forward base had been established. Human forces, concealed among the jagged rocks, unleashed a carefully orchestrated ambush. Mines detonated, energy pulses disrupted alien shields, and squads moved with lethal coordination. Alien champions were cut down one by one, their cries echoing across the wasteland. As the last ship of the convoy went down, Hero surveyed the battlefield. Smoke curled from the wreckage, fires danced on the sand, and the sun reflected off shattered armor. We're not just defending Earth, he said to his squad, voice low but fierce. We're taking it back. High above, alien commanders convened in orbit. Their confidence had fractured. Reports flooded in of human forces striking, with precision, adapting instantly and turning every encounter into a trap. For the first time, they feared not just defeat, but annihilation. And on Earth, humanity stood tall, scarred, battered, yet unbroken. Every human who had survived, every civilian who had picked up a weapon, every soldier who had refused to yield, had become part of a force the galaxy could not ignore. The counterstrike had begun, and the message was clear. Earth does not surrender. Earth does not forgive. Earth fights with a wrath born of survival, ingenuity, and unyielding spirit. The battlefield below was quiet, but the silence was deceptive. Humanity had turned defense into offense, but now the war was taking a daring, unprecedented turn. The fight was no longer just for survival. It was a declaration to the galaxy. Humans would not be contained. Colonel Marcus Vale stood in the command deck of Aurora, Earth's first long-range strike vessel. Its hull gleamed with makeshift armor, experimental energy cannons, and retrofitted alien technology scavenged from previous battles. "This is it," he said, voice echoing over the intercom. "We bring the fight to them. We show every corner of the galaxy what Earth-born warriors are capable of." Above the stratosphere, human fighters formed a sleek, lethal formation. Each pilot understood the risks. Alien fleets outnumbered them, and their technology was superior in raw power. But humans had mastered unpredictability. Each maneuver, each feint, was designed to exploit overconfidence. Lieutenant Sofia Alvarez gripped her controls tightly, eyes scanning the void for anomalies. "Formation Delta. Stay tight. Their scouts are fast, but we're faster when we anticipate their moves." Her fighter darted like a predatory bird, weaving between asteroids and space debris, while launching a swarm of miniature drones programmed to disable alien sensors. Below, on the bridge of an alien command vessel, a champion snarled. Reports of human counterstrikes had already shaken their confidence. Now, Earth's warriors had breached orbit, striking directly at supply lines and communication arrays. "They are bold, reckless," the champion hissed. "But humans cannot endure in space as they do on their planet. We will crush them." Hiro Tanaka's squadron launched boarding pods, hurtling at the alien flagship with terrifying precision. The pods pierced the shields and humans spilled onto the alien deck. Lights flickered, alarms blared, and chaos erupted. Every step carried life-or-death tension. Alien champions met them with brutal strength, but human squads used agility, strategy, and synchronized strikes to overcome overwhelming odds. Explosions shook the ship as Hero planted charges along the hull. Smoke filled the corridors. Sparks rained from exposed wiring, and alien soldiers struggled to contain the intruders. Every corner of the ship became a deadly playground of calculated chaos, a testament to human adaptability. Meanwhile, orbital artillery from Aurora hammered alien cruisers attempting to flank the boarding party. Beams of concentrated energy tore through hulls, sending smaller ships spiraling into the void. Even as the aliens retaliated, human pilots adjusted their formations mid-flight, avoiding destruction by fractions of a second. The suspense peaked when a massive alien champion descended to the hangar bay, armor glowing like molten metal. Hero, froze for a heartbeat, gauging the threat. With a nod, his team split, circling the champion. Mines detonated under its feet, EMP grenades disrupted its systems, and coordinated strikes forced it into a defensive retreat. The humans had won the encounter, but barely. Every victory was a reminder of the razor-thin line between life and death. Back on Earth, Colonel Vale monitored progress across multiple theaters. "They think they can isolate us in space," he muttered. "But we are everywhere. On the ground, in orbit, and in the minds of every alien who thought humans were predictable." As the flagship exploded in a dazzling display of fire and debris, humanity proved something profound. Earth was not the limit of their reach. The galaxy had underestimated them, and every miscalculation would be fatal. High above, alien commanders convened. Their arrogance had eroded into fear. Humans not only defended their homeworld, they struck into the heart of alien operations, demonstrating adaptability, coordination, and the ruthless precision of a species that refused to submit. Hero, bruised but alive, watched the void outside the shattered ship. "We're not just fighting for Earth anymore," he said quietly. "We're sending a message. Humans cannot be contained. They will follow us wherever we need to strike." And so, humanity took its first steps into the wider galaxy, not as conquered, not as prey, but as a force to be reckoned with. Every calculated strike, every daring maneuver, every life risked and won became proof that humans were no ordinary species. They were hunters, strategists, and survivors, a species whose wrath could extend beyond planets, beyond fleets, beyond imagination. The galaxy would remember this day, not as the day Earth was attacked, but as the day humans declared, "We do not wait for war to come to us. We bring war to those who challenge us." The galaxy had grown quiet, but not in peace. The silence was tense, a void filled with anticipation, as if every star held its breath. Humanity's strikes had shattered expectations. Alien fleets, once arrogant, now calculated every move with unease. And yet for humans, hesitation was not an option. The war was about to reach its decisive, unyielding phase. Colonel Marcus Vale stood at the helm of Aurora, watching the holographic projections of enemy movements across dozens of star systems. "We've taken their strongholds, crippled their command, and survived impossible odds," he said, voice steady but filled with fire. "Now we bring the reckoning to the heart of their empire. We show the galaxy that humans are not to be trifled with." Human fleets surged through hyperspace, emerging in systems previously thought untouchable. Every planet, every station, became a potential battlefield. Small but coordinated squads boarded alien capital ships, sabotaging engines and communications. With surgical precision, the galaxy was no longer theirs to dominate. It was a chessboard, and humans were moving every piece with ruthless intelligence. Lieutenant Sofia Alvarez led a strike team to a heavily fortified alien research station. Orbiting a dying star, the station pulsed with ominous energy, guarded by shields and dozens of alien champions. "Stealth first, precision second," she whispered to her team. "Every mistake, and we don't just fail, we vanish." Their approach was tense, the silence of space amplified by the hum of their suits and the faint pulse of the enemy station. Sensors picked up patrols, rotating turrets, and the rhythmic cadence of alien foot soldiers. Sophia's team moved like shadows, disabling power nodes, redirecting energy conduits, and leaving traps that would cripple the station if discovered. Every second was a gamble, every corridor a potential death trap. Meanwhile, Hiro Tanaka and his squad infiltrated an alien war council meeting, disguised in captured exosuits. The room was vast, filled with alien commanders barking orders and calculating strategies. Hiro's heart pounded. One wrong step would ignite alarms across the sector. With synchronized precision, his team planted explosives while neutralizing guards silently, their movements a deadly dance in the alien hierarchy. Explosions erupted simultaneously across the station as human forces executed a coordinated strike. Energy beams lanced through the hull, alarms blared, and corridors turned into chaos. Alien champions fought back with brute strength, but humans exploited every weakness. flanking, ambushing, and striking with ingenuity that defied expectation. Back. On the front lines, orbital artillery pounded enemy fleets attempting to regroup. Starships exploded in dazzling firestorms, fragments spinning into the void like shooting stars of war. Even the largest alien dreadnoughts were not safe. Human boarding teams infiltrated from below, igniting reactors and sabotaging engines. The galaxy's strongest warriors found themselves outmaneuvered, outwitted, and overwhelmed. Colonel Vale monitored multiple engagements simultaneously. "They've underestimated human adaptability for the last time," he muttered. "Every system we touch becomes a warning. Earth does not negotiate. Earth does not retreat. Earth conquers what dares challenge it." Tension reached its peak when a massive alien flagship descended upon a human colony world, intending to crush resistance and demoralize Earth's forces. Human fighters launched in waves, weaving through asteroid fields and planetary debris. Ground teams detonated ion disruptors, while orbital artillery tore through incoming warships. The sky lit with streaks of fire, explosions reflecting across craters, oceans, and mountains. Sophia's team reached the station's core, where alien scientists attempted to activate a weapon capable of annihilating entire star systems. In the heart of a glowing reactor, she set the final charges. "This is it," she whispered. "One chance to end this." As the countdown ticked, alien champions stormed the room. The ensuing clash was brutal. Metal against metal, energy pulses, and sparks flying in every direction. But human tenacity and ingenuity prevailed. The station erupted in a blinding cascade of energy, scattering debris across the system. Alien fleets, witnessing the destruction, faltered. Their cohesion shattered, their morale broken. Humanity had proven not only survival but dominance. Hero and Sophia regrouped, breathing heavily but victorious. "The galaxy thought Earth was just another planet," Hero said, voice tight with emotion. "They were wrong. They've learned the cost of underestimating us. And above it all, the stars bore witness. Humanity had brought the reckoning, not out of cruelty, but from a principle as old as life itself: survival, adaptability, and the unyielding will to protect one's own. The galaxy would never forget this day." The warning was clear. Humans were no mere inhabitants of a blue planet. They were a force whose wrath extended to the stars themselves. The galaxy trembled, though few dared speak of it aloud. Entire star systems bore the scars of human ingenuity and fury. Alien fleets that had once approached Earth with arrogance now fled at the whisper of its name. But the war was not yet over. Its final act demanded every ounce of courage, strategy, and resolve that humanity possessed. Colonel Marcus Vale stood on the command deck of Aurora, the bridge alive with the hum of energy shields, fleet telemetry, and communications from allied human forces scattered across the galaxy. "This is it," he said, voice cutting through the tension like a blade. "The heart of their empire lies before us. Every strike we make today is a declaration. Humanity does not forgive intrusion. Humanity does not forget insult. Humanity brings wrath." Below, Lieutenant Sofia Alvarez guided her squadron through the void, weaving between alien dreadnoughts, their hulls bristling with weaponry capable of erasing worlds. The squadron moved like phantoms, cloaked in experimental stealth fields, their pulse rifles and ion disruptors calibrated to penetrate even the heaviest shields. Every heartbeat carried suspense, every maneuver a dance with death. Hiro Tanaka and his elite boarding team infiltrated the flagship of the Alien High Council. The corridors were labyrinthine, alive with alien champions guarding the central chamber. Energy pulses traced the walls, and alarms threatened to drown their movements. In chaos. Yet the humans moved with precision, planting charges at key junctions while neutralizing threats silently and methodically. Every second felt stretched, every shadow a potential ambush. In the Alien High Council chamber, the leaders convened, confident that their overwhelming numbers and technology would crush humanity once and for all. But their arrogance faltered, as human boarding parties appeared from unexpected angles, flanking them, striking with synchronized ferocity. Sparks flew, metal clashed, and the chamber became a storm of chaos. The galaxy's most advanced warriors undone by humans' relentless adaptability. On the surface of the flagship, orbital artillery from Aurora shattered the alien fleet attempting to counterattack. Explosions erupted in cascading firestorms, lighting the void with deadly beauty. Drones tore through energy shields, disrupting communications and causing disarray. Even the mightiest alien warships fell victim to human tactics, each destroyed vessel a testament to ingenuity born from necessity. As the countdown on Hero's charges ticked closer to zero, a massive alien champion, a creature of pure energy and brute force, descended upon him. Hero froze for the briefest moment, calculating every angle, then launched a calculated attack. Sparks collided with his armor as he dodged, countered, and finally forced the creature into a containment field that neutralized its destructive power. The suspense was suffocating. One wrong move could annihilate them all. The charges detonated, the flagship shuddering violently as energy cores ruptured and shields collapsed. A blinding eruption of light engulfed the alien heart of power, scattering debris across the system. Alien commanders and fleets, witnessing the destruction of their strongest fortress, faltered completely. Panic and fear replaced arrogance and discipline. Humanity had not just survived, it had conquered strategically and decisively. Sophia's squadron hovered in the aftermath, surveying the ruin. They thought they controlled the galaxy, she whispered into her comms, but they underestimated us. Earthlings never bow, never yield, never surrender. Colonel Vale allowed himself a rare moment of quiet pride. Humanity had emerged, victorious not by sheer numbers or alien technology, but by cunning, adaptability, and relentless willpower. The galaxy had witnessed the full measure of Earth's wrath, a force unlike any before, capable of defending home and striking terror into invaders' hearts. Hero, Sophia, and the surviving warriors regrouped on Aurora, battered but unbroken. The stars outside were still scarred by fire and debris, but each one gleamed like a testament to human resolve. Vale's voice echoed across the fleet. Let every species, every corner of the galaxy understand this. Earth is not just a planet. It is the forge of warriors who will rise, adapt, and strike when challenged. Humanity does not ask for war, but when it comes, we bring wrath, and we will never be defeated. As the fleet began its return to Earth, the galaxy finally understood the truth. Humans were not merely inhabitants of a small blue world. They were predators, strategists, and champions of survival. Every victory, every risk, every life sacrificed had carved a warning into the cosmos, and somewhere among the stars, every alien leader who had ever doubted humanity felt it. Fear, for humans did not just fight wars. They brought wrath, and that wrath would echo across the galaxy for generations to come.